Hello everyone, welcome back to Engineering Economics. On this video, I will explain the income tax. So the content of this video uh, is based on the textbook Engineering Economics by Newnan, published by Oxford University Press. So here in income tax, we will apply the technique that we use in calculating depreciation. So your skill in calculating depreciation will be very useful here in this chapter, the income tax. Because what? Because the taxable income is your income minus the depreciation. Okay, before I continue explaining how we gonna calculate income tax, and at the end of it we will calculate the after tax cash flow, and from the after tax cash flow we will get the after tax rate of return. So the after tax rate of return we will compare it with the minimum attractive rate of return when the after tax rate of return is bigger than the minimum attractive rate of return, or the MARR, then the project is a good project. Otherwise, the project is not a good project. So before I start, there is one thing that I need to say regarding the depreciation. Okay, so machine, building, equipment, cars, tools, and other things, they have depreciation. But there is one type of asset that the depreciation does not apply to that asset. So what is that asset? The asset is land. Okay, so there is no depreciation for land. Okay, so this is very important. So for land, there is no depreciation. Why? Because the price of land every year, it tends to increase. So if you have a land, the price of that land this year is maybe 1 million per square meter, but next year, for sure, the price of that land will increase, or at least the price of that land will stay the same. So as a conclusion, there is no depreciation for land, but for other types of asset such as machine, equipment, car, they have depreciation. Okay, so now let's go to the income tax. So the objective of calculating income tax is to get the after-tax cash flow. And if you know the after-tax cash flow, then we can have the internal rate of return after tax. So we're gonna compare the rate of return after tax with the MARR. Okay, now there are several concepts that I need to explain before we go to the example. If the market value of your asset is bigger than the book value of that asset at the end of its useful life, so I repeat, if at the end of the useful life, no useful life, but at the end of the depreciation period of that asset, the market value of that asset is bigger than the book value of that asset, that we're gonna have recapture depreciation. But if at the end of the depreciation period of that asset, the market value of that asset is less than the book value of that asset, then we have loss. If the market value of the asset is bigger than the basis is the initial value of that asset. Basis is the value of that asset at year 0. So when the market value of that asset is bigger than basis, then we're gonna have the capital gain. So if that happened at the end of the depreciation period, then you're gonna have capital gain. So the recapture depreciation and the capital gain are taxable. So we need to pay tax for the recapture depreciation, and we need to pay tax for the capital gain. Okay? Now, let's see an example on how we will calculate the after-tax cash flow, and from the after-tax cash flow, we're gonna get the rate of return after tax. Okay, so I will use example number 2 in order to explain how we're gonna calculate the after-tax rate of return. I'm gonna copy this problem, okay, into Excel. Sorry, it slows. Oh, it's too big. Okay, so I do this so that I will not coming back to the PowerPoint again. So we have everything that we need here. So there is a company whose earnings put in the 35% marginal tax bracket. So this is the tax rate. So tax rate is 35%. So that means if you have 100 income, then if this company has a 100 income, then that company need to pay $35 to the government as tax. And that company is considering to purchase a new equipment for $25,000. So this is the initial value or initial cost of the equipment. So that is the basis, B basis, that is 25,000. And then the equipment will be depreciated by using straight line method. Okay, the method that we're gonna use is the straight line method over a period of 4 years. Okay, so N, that is the depreciation period, which is 4 years. Okay, and the depreciation method that we use is the SL method, the straight line method. The salvage value of the equipment is 5,000. The salvage value that is 5,000. Okay. And it is estimated that the equipment will increase the company earnings by 8,000 for every year. Okay, so it is a constant earning, 8,000 every year for the 4 years period. So every year that company will get $8,000. And then calculate the after-tax rate of return. Assume that the company sells the equipment at the end of year 4 for 5,000. So this is the market value. So the market value is 5,000. Okay. Now the first thing that we need to do is to see or to calculate the depreciation charge for that equipment. So since we are using straight line method, so we will have the depreciation charge dt, and it is constant every year. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna make it smaller. Okay, so based on what we learned from the previous video, dt for the straight line method, it is just the basis minus the salvage value over the number of the period. So $5,000. So that is the depreciation charge for the equipment every year. Now, the next thing that we need to do, we need to identify, or we need to know, will the company get the capture depreciation and capital gain. So in order to do that, we need to calculate the book value of the equipment in year 4. So because we are using the straight line method, so the book value in year 4 will be the basis minus, because it is in year 4, so 4 times the dt. So that is the book value of the equipment at the end of its depreciation period. Now see, that company sell that equipment in the market. The market value of that equipment is 5,000. So the market value is not bigger than the BV in year 4. So as a conclusion, no recapture depreciation. And see, the market value, it is 5,000. So MV is not bigger than the basis. The basis is 25. The basis is 25,000. So then B. So therefore, no capital gain. Okay. Now, so we can say that the recapture depreciation is 0 and the capital gain is also 0. Now let's calculate the rate of return after tax. So in order to do that, we need year. So we're gonna make a table. Year, we have year 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we're gonna have the before tax cash flow. Okay, so the before tax cash flow, so it is the cash flow in year 0. In year 0, that company get the equipment for 25,000, so it is a cost 25,000 minus 25,000. And it said that every year the equipment will increase the company earnings by 8,000. So every year that company get 8,000. So 8,000 till the end of year 4. But remember, in year 4, at the end of year 4, that company sell the equipment for 5,000. So that's also an earnings. So that company gets money. So we need to add 5,000. So at the end of year 4, the cash flow is 13,000. And then we need to have the depreciation charge, or DT. So the before tax cash flow, it is it is before tax cash flow, BTC. Okay, so that's the before tax cash flow. So when people say BTC, that's mean before tax cash flow. Okay, so the depreciation charge in year 0, there is no depreciation, but starting from year 1, that company need to calculate the depreciation of that machine. So the depreciation charge is constant every year, and it is the DT is 5,000. Okay, so it is constant every year. Okay, and then we need to have the taxable income, or TI. So the taxable income, it is the the before tax cash flow minus the depreciation charge for every year. Okay. So remember, the taxable income, it is the before tax cash flow minus the depreciation charge. And then we need to have tax. Okay, so this is the amount of tax that company need to pay. So the tax is the tax rate, which is 35%, times the taxable income. Okay. And the last column of the table is the after-tax cash flow. Okay. The after-tax cash flow, it is the before tax cash flow minus tax. Okay, so because in year 0 there is no depreciation charge, then there is no taxable income in year 0. So the after-tax cash flow in year 0, it is just the same as the before tax cash flow in year 0. Okay, but for year 1 until year 4, the after-tax cash flow is the before tax cash flow minus tax. Okay. So, or if you want to put value in taxable income or tax year, you can just put 0 over here. And of course, the tax in year 0 is 0. So the taxable, the after tax cash flow in year 0 is the before tax cash flow in year 0 minus tax, which is 0. So it is still minus 25,000. Okay. Now the next thing that we need to calculate is we need to calculate the based on the after-tax cash flow. Okay. So the after-tax cash flow, so we're gonna say that as the ATCF. This is the after-tax cash flow. Okay. Okay. So based on the after-tax cash flow, we're gonna calculate IRR after tax. Okay. How are we gonna do that? So in order to do that, we need to apply the knowledge that we have when we are calculating the IRR. So remember, when we calculating IRR, we are setting NPW equals 0. So the equation for calculating the IRR after tax is NPW equals 0, and that is equal. So we have cost here minus 25,000, okay, plus 9650 times, that's a constant, and that happen every year, P over A, because we are calculating present worth, so we want P I and 4, okay, and plus 3250 P over F I and 4, okay. And by using this equation, we're gonna find I. And I is your after-tax IRR. Okay. Now there is one thing that I want to explain here. Why I have 9650 from year 1 to year 4, and I have 3250 at the end of the equation. Remember, so this the 10,200. This consists of two things, which is the 9650, where we get every year, and the 3250. And see the total of them is 10,200. So it is the same. So that is why I'm using 9650 from year 1 to year 4, and then I have 3,250 as our future value in year 4. Now, if you do it manually, then you need to do trial and error. You need to try two value of I, and those two I, okay, two I's should produce NPW positive and NPW negative. Then do interpolation. If you do this correctly, you will try I. If you do it correctly, I equal 8%, and try I equal 9%, and this is small I, and with those two values of I, you're gonna get IRR after tax. You're gonna get I equal IRR after tax equals 8.96%. Okay, so you get the 8.96%. It is after doing interpolation. Okay. Now the easiest way to do this is by using Excel. So we can just calculate IRR, and then get all the value from the after tax cash flow, and then guess. I'm gonna use 10% as my guess. See, it is 9%. So if we add the decimal value, so it will be 8.96%. So that is your IRR after tax. So if the MARR is less than your IRR after tax, then buy the machine. If your IRR after tax is less than your MARR, so it is not a good idea to buy the machine. Now, I'm going to use the same example. Okay, I'm going to use the same example. Okay, but I'm going to make few changes. Okay, I'm going to copy it down. Now, assume that the market value, it is not 5,000. So the market value, assume that the market value is 6,000. Now see, now the market value, which is 6,000, it is bigger than the book value in year 4, which is 5,000. So it is bigger. So what's the conclusion? We have recapture depreciation. And how much is the recapture depreciation? It is 6,000, the market value, minus the book value in the end of the depreciation life, which is 5,000. So we have 1,000 recapture depreciation. What about the capital gain? Still there is no capital gain because the market value, which is 6,000, it is not bigger than the basis. The basis is 25,000. So here in the table, we need to change what we have in year 4. So okay, so the market value is 6,000. Now we are good there. Okay, taxable income. Okay, this is good. And then we need also to change what we have for tax in year 4. Remember, the recapture depreciation, it is taxable. Now assume that the tax rate for recapture depreciation is also 35%. Okay, recapture depreciation tax rate, that is also 35%. So the tax year at the end of year 4, so we add the amount of the recapture depreciation times the tax rate for the recapture depreciation. Okay, Now your after-tax cash flow, it is still the same. It will be the before tax cash flow minus tax. Okay. Okay, I think we are good now. Now we can calculate the after-tax rate of return. So IRR. So the values, and I guess I use 10% as my guess. Okay, so it is still, so now it is increasing the IRR after tax. Okay, so it makes sense because you get money from your because it makes sense because we have the recapture depreciation. So the internal rate of return after tax is increasing. Now there, when we have the recapture depreciation, now I'm gonna use the same example and I'm gonna make one more change. Now assume that the market value of the equipment is 30,000. Okay. Okay. Now the book value of the equipment in year 4 is 5,000. So the market value is bigger than the book value in year 4. So we have recapture depreciation. The market value in year 4 is also bigger than the basis. The market value is 30,000, your basis is 25,000. So we have capital gain also. We have capital gain. Okay. So what is your recapture depreciation? Because your market value is bigger than your initial cost, so you recapture all the depreciation. Okay. So you recapture all of this. So how much is your recapture depreciation? Recapture depreciation, it is sum of all depreciation charge. It is 10 to 20,000. So you recapture all of them. And then what is your capital gain? Your capital gain will be the market value minus the recapture depreciation. So your capital gain is 10,000. Assume that the tax rate for the capital gain is, assume that it is 40%. Okay, just assume that it is 40%. So we need to change what we have in year 4. Okay, now we have this depreciation taxable income, and your tax, you need to add your recapture depreciation, your capital gain times the tax rate of it. But we already add the tax for the recapture depreciation. Okay. So now what we have? So now see the internal rate of return after tax become higher. It is now 14.5%. So I think this is it, how we calculate the after-tax rate of return by using our knowledge on cash flow, on depreciation. And when we are using a different method of depreciation, then we are gonna get a different after-tax cash flow. And maybe with that we're gonna get a different internal rate of return. So it depends on what types of depreciation method that you use. I think this is it. Thank you very much.